Hey everybody, welcome back to Michael Clarida Arts. Glad you stopped by today. We're going to be doing something fun. You guys know that I love having fun. Sometimes fun eludes me, but I like having it, just like everybody else. And I love drawing. So drawing is my jam. I am a professional illustrator with over 25 years of experience in the marketplace, creating toys, illustration, designing, packaging, you name it, for big boys like Warner Brothers, Disney, Pixar, Universal Studios, you name it. So whoever can give me the job, then I will take it, and that is that. So that is context. I'm a big guy for context, and I just wanted to kind of give you a broad stroke of who I was as an illustrator. I've also had the privilege, and privilege being the honor and privilege, to be able to review products on this channel as they apply to the art studio. Sometimes we're a little loosey-goosey with the rules, right? Because I like good design. I like good design and products that help you as a person. I like good design as it applies to life situations. And yeah, just as long as the design makes sense and it applies to the art studio in some capacity, we're going to continue reviewing those. So today on the table, we have something that I think you might be interested in. It is from a company called Gaomon. Yeah, there we go. There's their logo, Gaomon. Gaomon. And they are a producer of quality display tablets, peripheral tablets, sketching tablets, drawing tablets, things that aid you in drawing on the computer digitally. In addition to all the stuff that I do traditionally, whether it be watercolor painting, whether it be chainsaw carving, whatever it is, I am also a digital illustrator. And with those digital tools, there is different levels of quality. And I've reviewed stuff that costs $2,500. I've reviewed stuff that costs $1,500. And I've reviewed stuff that costs $65, $80. And one thing always sticks out to me, and this is something you probably need to grab hold of, as it is a nugget of wisdom. The stuff that I review are tools, right? The tools can either aid and help or inhibit and delay. And sometimes the frustration comes out whenever a company makes a product that doesn't do what it's supposed to do or says it does. And I'm sure some of you have experienced this, and I'm hoping that this particular product, the PD1161 drawing tablet, it's about 11.6 inches. It's got 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity. It's got some pretty artwork with some people on the front, which I always think is pretty cool. And overall, it is an offering that possibly has implications in the art studio. So again, professional versus novice versus student, these are all things that you evaluate. And I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching this are looking for a budget-minded tablet that won't, quote, break the bank, and they can use it and it won't break down, it'll last, it's got a good warranty, and overall the drawing experience. And that to me is key. Drawing experience is key. If the tablet does not do what it says it is supposed to do in an efficient manner, or if there are many difficulties in getting it to work, it inhibits. I don't want a product that inhibits me from creativity. Now, I reviewed a product from Gaomon before, the PD1561, which was more of a utilitarian tablet, and they used IPS, and it was okay. It didn't blow my face off. It did exactly what it said it did, and I said it was a great budget tablet. And I think that was maybe a 15.6 inch tablet. I can't remember. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a boxing of the PD1161 pin display. We're going to program some of the quick keys, and we're going to see how it drives. I'm going to draw something on it. Yay, drawing. This is 1920 by 1080, 16:9 aspect ratio, 8 customizable keys, so there is a driver involved. Pressure sensitivity, as I had mentioned, 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity. They did not mention tilt on the back. Typically, 60-degree tilt is a standard. Let's go ahead and click on the Amazon. Okay, it is for Mac and Windows PC. It's got 6,631 ratings at almost a complete 5 stars. So that right there tells you this is a decent quality item for the price. Currently, it is retail at $199.99. And Amazon has it on their site right now for $169.99. And I don't know about shipping. Oh, Prime members. If you're a Prime member, you get free shipping. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip you around, let you see their advertisement on Amazon because I am one for transparency. Then we're going to do the lovely unboxing. It is going to be great. It's got an IPS LCD screen. And hopefully we won't have a lot of parallax. Parallax happens when the cursor and the pen have a distance and there's a delay. Now I will be running it off of my PC today. We will not be hooking it up to the Mac, which is fine. I mean, PCs are pretty much, what, 92% of the computers in the world. In terms of color gamut, this is 92% of NTSC. But we will go ahead and look into the advertisement on Amazon and read some of the documentation there. Again, this is context because this channel is not about the easy swipe. I want to dig deeper into the unit. I want to test the unit. I want to make sure that you guys see the fit and finish, the quality, and then overall give a rating at the end. Maybe a Mike rating. Mike gives it a thumbs up or a thumbs sideways. I don't know. Either way, we're going to find out. And hopefully Gaomon created a good product based upon the reviews. I mean, that's pretty good. But $170, $200. $200 is kind of the sweet spot for 11 to 12 inch tablets, especially display tablets at that size. Okay, let's get started. And here we are on Amazon, the Gaomon store. So what I like about Amazon is, first of all, there's tons of information and these little ratings up here. I typically will click that and I'll go straight to the negatives because that will give me a little bit of a better overview of exactly what the product's failures are. We'll do that here in just a moment. But HDMI USB, so if you have a computer like this one has only USB-C, then I will probably just plug in a USB-C. But some of the other computers have HDMI. Oh, 60 degrees of tilt support. Anti-glare protective film, which is not ideal, but at this price point is acceptable. A lot of the new ones come with etched glass. But a protective film is fine. Right on the screen. IPS. Vivid. So 72% NTSC, 100% sRGB, which is great. 16.7 millions of color, which is always good. Say goodbye to charging. Batteryless stylus. So it uses the batteryless technology, which a lot of the companies are going for, except Apple, of course. Apple still has their battery in their pen. Step up, Apple. 8 press keys on the side you can program. Beginner artist to draw, edit, or image design work. So those of you that maybe are budding photographers and need something like this at $200, this is a great option. And then it says Windows 7 or later, Mac OS 10.12 or later. It is compatible with Medibang, Blender, Photoshop, as well as many other applications, so on and so forth. I will probably use it in Photoshop today, but great. So they have back to school reference. That's awesome. And they show some of their other products from their peripheral tablets here to their display tablets, drawing tablets, so on and so forth. Yeah, not a big size, great for traveling. Now it does indicate, and this is something that a lot of people get confused about, this is not a standalone tablet and must be connected to a laptop or host computer to work. So basically the cable goes into the host machine and you can either mirror the screen from the tablet, or I'm sorry, the computer, or you can project. But I love display tablets. Battery-free stylus like we talked about. And then tilt support, so that's really good. Now, that right there, I can already see the nib sticks out quite a bit. Whoops. Nib sticks out quite a bit. And then we have the barrel of the pen. If you've been with me before, you know that I am a big taper barrel guy. I don't like fat barrels, but that's just my opinion. Make your mark, edit photos with these, express your creativity, work and learn digitally. And they do have different machines, different sizes, different price points, so definitely evaluate that, so on and so forth. So let's go all the way back up here. We're going to check out their ratings. I go right to the negative. Oh, gonna make me sign in. All right, give me a second. Okay, after numerous security protocols to get into my own Amazon account on this machine, here are some of the negative reviews. Sketchy from the get-go, 7 months. They couldn't calibrate it, couldn't get it close enough, multiple times, plugs are on the right side of the screen, stick out, cables are thick and insufficient for curving. Happy with the purchase, update, not happy with the purchase. They've had it for weeks, but the colors look amazing. It's not too thick. Update. After a couple months, the display was doing some weird things with my laptop, and it basically control key stuck. So when I pressed S, it would try to save the file. Okay, so I don't know. That's an anomaly. So big fat miss. They've reviewed and used Wacom Cintiqs and Huion. They've improved their quality. Gaomon has throughout the year, so on and so forth. Delivered, giving the benefit of the doubt. Pen holder was missing. The tablet itself definitely had been used from the condition of the screen. Okay, so they were sent something that was already used. Tracking. So tracking, if I remember correctly, tracking was something that I had a challenge with on their previous tablet. Okay, tiring and unusable. None of the symbols, Amazon to find it, recalibrate it. Okay, there's a lot of recalibration issues. Broke 2 of my keyboards. What? Some people have anger issues. Interesting. It says lottery tablet. Great product, except they get their screens from 2 different manufacturers. One screen is great, neat features, sharp another company that makes the screen is inferior. And this is something that we see in production cycles, especially whenever it comes to products and toys. You have limited amount of resources at one factory, and then the factory dries up, and then you have to move on. And QC can be an issue when you switch factories. I don't blame Gaomon for that. Don't buy this tablet. They're done with Gaomon. They had one before. I was literally in the middle of drawing. Brush starts to lag like crazy. Okay, so they're blaming the tablet. That could have been their computer. Could have been a myriad of things. I don't know. So on and so forth. This guy has a video. Display does not work. It goes black. Okay. So what I'm seeing overall from the Amazon review, especially the negative side, is the fact that there is a challenge with tracking, screen issues, some of the other things. Now, this is the beginning of the review. I don't have any of those things. Now, I did, if I remember correctly, I'd have to go back. I don't remember what I gave the previous Gaomon unit. I think it was okay, good for a student. But with the budget-minded tablets, I think there is some type of concession that one should, not concession, expectations. So managing expectations. Now, $200 is a lot of money. I don't care who you are. You could be a billionaire. And, you know, you basically take money and you wipe your nose with it or whatever, but $200 to a lot of people is a decent amount of money, especially for a peripheral tablet. Yeah, $200. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to unbox it. We're going to look at it. We're going to set it up. We're going to draw on it, and we're going to calibrate it. I'm one of those guys that comes at, and if you've been with me before, you know this, that comes at products as a layman. First of all, I have a huge amount of knowledge whenever it comes to computers, just based on experience, not by willingness. I mean, originally, I basically didn't even touch a computer until I was, you know, in my early 20s. And that was like 1997, 98. I hated computers. And honestly, it is an object that inhibits creativity because you have to learn interface, you have to learn programs, you have to learn all these things. And at the end of the day, if you really want to draw, just pick up a pencil and a piece of paper and draw. Paint on a canvas and call it a day. You can be a fantastic, successful artist. But in today's day and age, computers are necessary. And I want to make sure and cover it as a layman, meaning somebody that doesn't have all that experience. So I try to suppress all of that experience and come at it, meaning installation of driver. Is it easy to install? Is it easy to unbox? Is it easy to set up? And easy being a reasonable human being, somebody that maybe can pump their own gas, right? Change an air filter in their car, tie their own shoes, balance a checkbook, stuff like that. That's kind of your median intelligence quotient. Now, I'm not insulting anybody, but the reality is people are at different levels of wisdom and intelligence. And whenever you inject technology, especially complex stuff, yeah, it becomes a challenge. That's why there are user interface graphic designers, which I think are sorely needed. You just can't take a product and slap an interface on it and expect it to work. So many times I've watched people fail. I mean, I was with my aunt recently, and she has a computer, and she was looking to buy another computer, and she had an iPad, and she didn't quite know what she was doing. And I was thinking, wow, there needs to be a better way. And I'm not saying the older you get, the less apt you are at technology, but technology keeps moving. And a lot of times we as people, we stop. We stop at a certain point. We stop innovating our clothes, right? We stick with the same hairdo. We stick with the same glasses because we figure out kind of what works for us, and we've tailor-made things like my bed. My bed is perfect for me and my wife. And the same thing applies to computers. It applies to life in general. I want it to be easily set up, and hopefully there will be no problems today. So let's go ahead and unboxing the, what is it called? The Gaomon PD1161. That's not a very fun name. They should call it the Dragonfire. The Gaomon Dragonfire. Get ready to get burned. I'm just kidding. That's what I'm saying. PD1161 is not a very exciting name. So it's all good. Let's get started. And here we are going to open up the PD1161. Okay, so box. Comparatively speaking, I've got the other box that came to me for the PD1561. And you can see the difference. I got this in a back alley. I'm just kidding. But you can see the difference, right? Cardboard, utilitarian, versus Draw the World. We love characters. We love doing so. So they recognize there is a value in creating good box presentation because people like that. Here's the star of the show. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. First of all, not heavy. Comes in this, I believe it's a static-free bag. I'm not really sure. Overall, very similar to what I saw before. Now, this does not have a stand, and it doesn't have any mounts for a stand, so I guess you're supposed to draw on it flat. Like that. We won't do that. I have a stand that I purchased a while back. It's made of aluminum. So we're going to go ahead and mount that here in just a moment. We're going to look at it. Actually, we're going to look. Here's the quick keys. Good quality plastic. Anti-etched film. Anti-glare film. It does look like etched glass, but it is not. Here's the I/O, the menu, power, and the screen brightness. I don't know what auto is. Auto? What? And over here on the right-hand side, maybe it has to do with orientation. I really don't know. Here's the plug-in, and we will be using the USB-C. Depends. So let's go ahead and go in. Oh, look at all the stuff. Much better presentation than previous. Looks like we do have a power cord. Ew, yuck. Wow, that's a lot of cords, a lot of rubber cords. So they've got this little hickey that you put in here as I mess things up. Open, lock, which orientation does it go in? There we go, lock. So this is for America. America, it's the 2-prong 120, plugs in, it's your power supply. Here is the proverbial puck, and I'm sure that there are some nibs. Ooh, those are fatties. Those are some fatty nibs, which indicates probably they're not going to wear out as fast. I've noticed a lot of the nibs are wearing out fast. Is it because I draw too fast and hard? I like things hard. I like things soft too. Nice pen. Not amazing, little light, little cheap. I like the Gaomon imprinting on here. That's not tampo printed, that is embossed or debossed. That's nice. Good rubber, 2-button with that huge fatty nib. But hopefully that'll be indicative of long life. Put that over here. Here is the proverbial, oh, they got a glove at this price point? Golly. Okay, so back in the day, I paid $30 for one of these gloves from a sweet lady based out of Europe, and she had found the gold mine. She was the only one making these, and they were 30 bucks. What was the name of that? I don't remember. Anyway, you get them free. I'm sure she wished she would have patented it. Anyway, so Gaomon download drivers. Yes. Quick start guide, keeping things simple. Pin display. Here's all the stuff. Here's all the I/O reference. And oh my gosh. It's a tri-cable. Look at the tri-cable. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got Type-C. I'm just going to try plugging a Type-C in there. Well, I don't know. Because I don't have an HDMI in my computer. I've just got a Type-C. So we'll use the cables provided because that's what we're going to do. Anyway, let's go ahead and hook it up. So I understand why companies do this. Because a lot of people don't have modern computers. Some are 3 to 5 years old. And they don't have the capability to just plug in a USB-C here and a USB-C into the computer and everything be good. This right here, I want to show you this. This is yuck. So, company, please figure out a way to fix this. This is yuck. Power cable, HDMI, USB-C. This is a yeah, proverbial nightmare. Where some of the other companies, this is all you need. This is it. Plug in, call it a day. So what we're going to do is we're going to use what they gave to us because not everybody has the capability to plug in, and I'm not really sure how they have things set up. So we're going to go ahead and get started and plug all this in. Okay, so already ran into a snag. I plugged in the USB-C and the HDMI cable, and I plugged in the power cable, and here we are on the other side of the equation. We have an HDMI. This is supposed to go into your computer, and a USB, standard USB-A. My modern computer, which is about 2 years old, the Surface Laptop Studio, has neither of these connections. Okay, neither. So if I purchased this and I had my Surface Laptop Studio, or even, case in point, Surface, just a standard Surface device. So this is the Surface Pro. If you look over on the edge here, 2 USB-Cs. Okay, so this would not be compatible with this tablet. That is unfortunate. And even though my Macintoshes, I do have a Macintosh in front of me, an M2 Mac, and then I have a Mac Studio. Those both have HDMIs and this, so this would be fine for them. But if you just have a laptop that has USB-C, you're going to have to get one of these. This is a dongle. So dongle with multiple peripherals. Access, so this plugs in here and into the USB. Okay, we are on the product support page. So a lot of times whenever you hook up a device like this without installing the driver, the pin works. However, in this case, the pin does not work because the computer does not recognize it as a quote-unquote mouse. So what we have to do is we have to come to Gaomon.net/pages/support. We go over to download now. We're looking for drivers. PD1161. So here's all the reference. 1610, 16. Hold on. Make sure we've got the right 1161. So we're looking for 1161 model PD1161. Yay! I'm on drivers, Windows. Very important that you recognize which are downloading. Get the correct one. Linux. So we're going to go ahead and download the PC. The last time it was updated in 625. So we're going to download. It is 50 bags. Roughly. Open file. Yes. Okay. No drawing programs are currently running. But I like to go ahead and install and see if it works right off the bat. Now I do like having, and it works. Yay! So far, we got a hesitation. Interesting. Okay. We're going to go ahead and restart just to make sure everything installed correctly. Okay, and here we are on the Gaomon PD1161. I went ahead and adjusted the aspect ratio from my machine. My machine is 2160 something, blah blah blah. I don't know. Either way, I had to match I had to go ahead and configure my computer to project at the resolution of the screen so I can have nice scaling and fill up the entire area. Overall, so yeah, I had to go ahead and restart because whenever I initially did it, the tracking was way off and it wouldn't initiate the cursor upon lead in. So lead in is the distance between the surface of the screen and the pin itself. I couldn't get it to activate. So now, if you look, I don't know if you can look. The distance, the parallax is very, very minute. We're talking minuscule. So whatever they've done to take that LCD screen and put it right up against the plastic film that protects the LED screen, that thinness, it really works really well. Very responsive, just in initial dip in. Typically, when you first start a PC, it has to go through all the cycles. And it took a hot minute for the driver to load. Hot minute meaning it was a little bit longer than expected, but that's okay now that everything works. So let's go ahead and launch a drawing program. Okay, and here we are on the Gaomon PD1161. I went ahead and adjusted the aspect ratio from my machine. My machine is 2160 something, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Either way, I had to go ahead and configure my computer to project at the resolution of the screen so I can have nice scaling and fill up the entire area. Overall, so yeah, I had to go ahead and restart because whenever I initially did it, the tracking was way off and it wouldn't initiate the cursor upon lead in. So lead in is the distance between the surface of the screen and the pin itself. I couldn't get it to activate. So now, if you look, I don't know if you can look. The distance, the parallax is very, very minute. We're talking minuscule. So whatever they've done to take that LCD screen and put it right up against the plastic film that protects the LED screen, that thinness, it really works really well. Very responsive, just in initial dip in. Typically, when you first start a PC, it has to go through all the cycles. And it took a hot minute for the driver to load. Hot minute meaning it was a little bit longer than expected, but that's okay now that everything works. So let's go ahead and launch a drawing program. But before we do that, let's go down to the driver. Go ahead and launch the driver. Here we are, launched very quickly, very nice. So, okay, let's to the pin. Okay, I could program the keys, but I'm going to do that here off camera, because in terms of launching the program, then I have to go in and I have to specify which ones I want, so on and so forth. And I just think that'll take a hot minute. But to do it, it's not hard. Like if I were to go ahead and launch Photoshop. Okay, so I've launched Photoshop. You have to launch the program first for the driver to recognize it. So we'll come over here, we'll add a program. As you can see, all of these programs have launched automatically. SharePoint, let's find Photoshop. Should be down here near the bottom, possibly. Where are you? Yeah, there it is. Here we are. Photoshop. So now I can go into the pin. I can say pressure sensitivity needs to be, okay, that's not working. So let's go up here. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Okay, pen works fine. Okay, oh, I see. Okay, so I have to grab these little handles right here. So I like mine right around here. Okay, so that's good. And you can program the eraser. It's pre-programmed as eraser in Photoshop. Right click mouse button. I can actually make that the eyedropper, which is typically what I do. So let's do keystroke E. All right. All right, so typically on the left side, I will do in Photoshop. So my control will be, and what I'm doing, enter the keystroke. Control S, no. Enter any, okay, so here we go. So this is where we enter the keystroke. Space bar, and that would be hand. And you can name them, which is pretty sweet. I'm gonna come here, and I'll do, I don't know, let's do F. So that's full screen. So So we'll do full screen. You get the understanding of exactly what's going on. So I've already programmed 2 of those in. I don't think I'm going to go much further than that on camera. So let's go ahead and program these, and then we'll jump into Photoshop. But before I come back and start drawing, I wanted to go ahead and calibrate, because what I've noticed, even though the calibration is pretty good right here, first of all, a lot of the icons are really small because I've done things on my computer to kind of scale accordingly at the HD. So I need to go ahead and scale up a little bit. Okay, so here I am in the system settings, and I went to systems display, and I'm going to go ahead, and you can see we're at 1920 by 1080. I'm going to go ahead, it says recommended 100%, but I want to make the icons a little bit bigger so I can read them and you can see them. So we're going to go ahead and scale it up to 150%. Okay, so I think we're good on that. Let's go back. So we're going to come back. Thing looks nice. Screen calibration. So why I'm doing this is because I noticed as the cursor goes over to the edge, the offset starts happening. It's okay right in this area, but the second I give it over to the edge, now I typically don't draw all the way to the edge, but some menus are over there, and some menus are at the top, and some menus are at the left, as well as the bottom. So whenever I was dragging the cursor and the pen down, I was getting an offset, which is not ideal. Now, what I was told with regards to technology, this black area, although very thick, this is what houses the digitizing sensors for the pen. So how they're able to track and calibrate correctly the sensors over here in the black area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on the calibration procedure, and I'm setting it at the angle, the screen at the angle that I would draw at, and the angle of my natural drawing hand. Okay, so let's go back. Good, Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue over to Photoshop. Okay, so there's already an anomaly with regards to the tracking in the driver. So you look, it does not activate upon dip in, and the cursor stays right there, and here's the pen. So whenever I touch the screen, then it hops over to it. But right now, it is malfunctioning. So what I'm thinking possibly is there's some other task going on. But right now the tablet is definitely malfunctioning. So I'm going to go ahead and restart the computer. What I did notice, and this is probably comparatively speaking to the Mac environment, because the Mac environment is where I work pretty much exclusively on my professional career and work, PCs just take a long time to start up. So this one still hasn't loaded the driver. It's probably been about 30 seconds. Things are loading, things are happening, it's rendering the screen. Now this is a powerful machine. This is a Surface Laptop Studio, 32 gigs of RAM. I think it has a, I don't know, 11th or 12th generation processor. Okay, 1920 by 1080 at 59 hertz. So it's 60 hertz basically refresh rate, which is the bare minimum. I've seen some machines, my computer, this one right here, I believe is 120 native, and then you can dumb it down to 60. And then I actually reviewed a display tablet recently that was 165 hertz refresh rate, which was amazing. Again, still hasn't loaded. See, this is interesting. It keeps asking me this. Why it changes the device? And this is the second time as asked. So I'm going to go show more details. Yes. So now the driver's going to load. Again, PCs can be very frustrating. But a lot of times that's computer, not tablet related. Okay, so now we have activation. Not really sure why we're having issues, but sometimes a restart solves everything. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with regards to that edge not being sensitive enough, and then there also being an offset problem. So if we come down here, you can see that it is not quite directly at the tip of the pen. So now I didn't even click. Now what's interesting is I didn't even click Illustrator, or at least I don't think I did. Maybe I did. But we're going to go ahead and try it again. So you can see here's the pen, here's the cursor. We're going to come down to the bottom, and we're going to click it. So we clicked it. There it goes. Excellent. Going to launch Photoshop and get our draw on. Okay, so I'm having some challenges with regards to this particular tablet. Now I understand that this particular tablet isn't $700, $800, $1,000, but I do expect it to work correctly. And what I'm noticing is this is something that happened on the other unit, the other Gaomon unit. It has to do with the tracking. And every time it gets close to the edge, it's losing the tracking. So like right now, okay, everything looks pretty good. Now it's doing some really weird things. Like I can drag stuff and then it does like a hold. I mean, look at all of this. This is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't do any of this whenever I'm... Okay. So then, like I want to drag this particular down to the bottom. Okay, so it's... Obviously I can't do that. But then... So I want to go ahead and... so frustrating. So like down here, whenever I come here, you see how the tracking is off. It's off from the tip. Okay, and just overall, I'm noticing a jerkiness. It's not working correctly, and overall, I've had to restart it 3 times. And every single time I restart it, I get this little window that pops up that says, hey, do you allow Gaomon to make changes to your computer? Because I believe the driver is loading, and I don't know if that has to do with Windows security protocols, but whenever I've installed other drivers, and I do have other drivers that have been installed on this machine from other competitors, I don't have any issues like that. Every single time I restart, the driver automatically loads, and I don't have any issues. So right now, I am pretty frustrated. Yeah, see, look at that. Why did it do that? I have no clue. Yeah, and like right here, it's like, oh gosh, it is literally. So this is what I was talking about before, whenever it comes. Yeah, see, I selected in here, but it actually selected up here because the tracking is off. Now, I've already recalibrated this machine probably about 3 times. Frustrating. And this is what I was talking about, inhibiting creativity. So far, I have not been able to draw anything on this machine, on this particular tablet, because of the fact that I can't get the driver to work correctly. So it does have the latest and greatest driver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and restart again. I'm going to video the little window that pops up and show you what I was talking about. And I'm hoping we can actually get into the drawing process here in Photoshop, because I got a really cool drawing plan. But at the end of the day, if I can't, then that's the way it's just going to have to be. So anyway, let's go ahead and restart. And this is what I was talking about. So every single time that I restart this computer, this comes up. It says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? I'm assuming this is the driver. So right now, the driver does not work. I've already started the computer, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my trackpad, and I'm going to click yes. So I'm assuming now, still doesn't, okay, now it works. So that is less than desirable. Now I'd probably have to go into the depths of the settings and the startup protocols with regards to this machine, and right now I'm not going to do that. But the driver, I don't know if it's lacking permissions to auto start whenever I start the computer up. That is kind of frustrating, but I understand if that is a Windows issue. It's not a Gaomon issue. So let's go ahead, and as you see, again, the tracking is off. Now I've already reset the tracking 3 times on this particular machine, but let's go ahead and give it the benefit of the doubt. We're going to go ahead and reset it again. Okay. Device, then we're going to go back here. Screen calibration. So tracking, screen calibration, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and click that. Natural drawing, so this is pretty simple. You just click right in the red dot. Right there. This will be the 4th time. Okay. And even then, now look. Now this is fascinating. I want you to see this. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so since this is at an angle, the laser for autofocus is causing it to malfunction. But what I'm trying to get at is the tracking is off, even after calibration. So I get, like I had indicated before, I get there can sometimes be issues. So it's like the selection, and then it lets it go, lets it go, lets it go. And you see that to me, and I can come up to my, come up here to my computer, and everything works fine. Everything's fine. The second I come to this unit, it doesn't want to select the windows. The tracking's off. So it is what it is. I mean, I can't really... I'm not an engineer. I installed the driver. I've calibrated it. I've done everything that they've basically told me to do in the instruction manual, so it is frustrating. But at the end of the day, we're going to go ahead. We're going to, quote-unquote, try anyway. So let's go ahead and launch Photoshop. Okay, so before we get started into the drawing for today, so I was out on a walk this morning, and I saw this, which was amazing. I looked down, and... obviously this looks like a fish, so I took a photo of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of creativity with regards to your everyday objects and stuff like that and what you see. And sometimes you get some of the really cool drawings and images inspiration from just being outside. But first we're going to go ahead, we're going to do a line test. So I've done line tests before. This is really not a quote-unquote tell-all with regards to the quality of the unit, but it is a really fast way to kind of weed out some of the lower rung tablets. Now, each tablet will have its pluses and minuses, but at the end of the day, this is not really a super accurate, indicative way of saying this is a bad tablet or not, because back in the day, whenever I used N-Trig stuff, the N-Trig was not great at all. I mean, N-Trig had issues here and there with regards to pressure. N-Trig, and I'm talking about the Microsoft Pen protocol, and N-Trig had a lot of issues, but I still used N-Trig to create some great art. So that's what I'm trying to say. Don't use this as like, oh, you saw the line test was terrible, therefore the unit itself is terrible. No, that's not really a great way to look at it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw some circles using the pressure. And it's got a good pressure curve. Make sure, because I wanted to use the quick keys on the left hand side. So overall, really good. I'm not seeing any shoestringing, so the drawing experience actually is pretty good. The tracking seems to be okay. The pressure curve seems to be okay. Let's go ahead and add a layer. Okay. Now we're going to do an initial lead in. So we're going to do really light, basically the pressure of the pen, the weight of the pen. And we're going to kind of add some pressure as we go. Okay, we're to full black right now. We're going to go ahead and taper this off slowly. Okay, so I did notice like right here, we had a little bit of a hiccup. And right here at the end, we had a little bit of hiccup. But over here, I mean, all of this right here is really, really good. Great pressure curve. We're going to see if shit does shoestringing. I don't believe I have a line smoother. There's no line smoother on here. So far, pressure curve is really good. Nice flow, initial dip in. I don't see... Now, shoestringing would be something not similar, it would be. So you would see like this, and then you would see like that. So that would be like a little aglet on the side, on the end. Be like really dark, and then you would see it kind of like that. And it's not doing any of that. So then we'll do the horizontal line test. Horizontal looks really good. I'm sorry, that's vertical, duh. Then horizontal. And typically, if there's an issue in the digitizer, you'll see it in the diagonal line test. And right now, we're going to go really slow. Slow. That looks really good. So overall, I think the line test, it passed the line test. No issues there. Trash and go back. Yeah, I think overall the drawing experience is good. What I'm seeing too, so I'm going to go back here. Yeah, see that right there. You see what it just did? Now, I don't know if it's maybe the nib not communicating correctly, so I'm going to go ahead and change the nib, because a lot of times what I've noticed, especially whenever it comes to tablets, is it's the smallest little things that we think are causing the problem, but they really aren't. But we're going to go ahead and start doing what we can to make this tablet work the best, because I want this to have a really good review and have the best light, because we haven't had too much fun yet. We've had some challenges here and there, you and I, reviewing this unit, and whenever it comes to PCs too, PCs are just, oh, so finicky. So let's go ahead and let's see if that helps. Whoa. Okay, so we do have pressure, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and select this up here, and I'm going to drag it down. So as you see, for some reason, it doesn't want to select the window. Okay, that is less than desirable. Again, we're going to go ahead and try select. You can see, and now it's auto-selecting it. And now it doesn't select it at all. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and change the nib again, just in case. Now, if I had purchased this by this time, I'd be pretty frustrated, because you're watching it in real time, right? The challenge, we're going to go ahead and get rid of that nib. Who knows? Oh, with regards to these little dudes. It feels like it fits into, goes in. Okay. That seems like that might have done it. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, sometimes the nibs are not all created equals. So, okay. Could you imagine if this was a Christmas present? Here you are, Christmas morning, trying to get everything ironed out, trying to get things worked out. You have a frustrated, like a child or a teenager or even an adult that has this unit and had driver issues, tracking issues. Now we're dealing with nib issues. I mean, like I said, I'm not one of those people that really judges a book by its cover. I need to actually read the book, but so far the book has not been very friendly. Okay. Believe it or not, that nib feels really good. Now the overall feeling of the pen, it's very light. I mean, super light. If I was Gaomon, I would probably put some type of weight in here to give it a little bit better perception of value, because the pen overall design is nice. Now I'm a tapered barreled kind of artist. I like things to be a little bit longer, similar to, you can see the difference. This is a Surface pen, a Surface Pro pen. And you can see how the taper is really long and it comes to a point. This one is kind of fat and juicy. I'm not a really big fat and juicy kind of guy whenever it comes to pen tips. Anyway, so let's go ahead and start with this. So I think I'm going to adjust the pressure a little bit too, because it's a little heavy-handed in Photoshop. And I did notice inside the driver, whenever that is frustrating. Now it's just weird. It does weird. So the driver, it's not friendly. See how, look at this. See, it does not want to do anything. It's fighting. I come up here to the computer where the trackpad is, and I can move it up. No problem. Let's go over here to the pen. We're going to stay in Photoshop. We're going to go a little bit harder. And we're going to go all programs, and we're going to make it a little bit lighter. Because I feel like the pen, I'm having to fight it. It's fighting me quite a bit. So let's go back. Now the pressure is blown out. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong. Okay, let's go back. All programs, Photoshop, pen pressure, output, pen sensitivity. Okay, let's go ahead and keep that. So now the pressure is way too much. Okay, so now I can't get the pressure curve correct. Let's go ahead and fix it. I mean, this is default. Let's go back. Default's really too heavy. Let me go back. Actually, the one thing that I changed, all programs. All programs. Let's go ahead and make that default. We'll do Photoshop. We'll go ahead and throw that down a little bit so it's a little bit harder, because I like a harder. And two, if you notice, I'm having a challenge grabbing the little handles. So we're going to go down to the pressure test. You can pressure test things. Okay, that's not too terrible. Okay. Okay. Again, I went and changed that variable in all programs. I'm not sure if that overrides everything, but I just have that as default. So let's go ahead and come back. Now we're going to come to the drawing phase. Okay. It feels good. Obviously, with all the issues that I've had today, it's not ideal. And two, the sizing. The sizing is not really my my bag. I'm typically a large format, like nothing under 15.5, 15.9. So even though this is probably a good size for maybe a child or a teenager inside of a dorm, I think that for me, as a professional, I think that this is a little bit small for me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the brush a little bit smaller. I typically use a quick key device. Okay, so what I did was I used a quick key device over here on the left hand side that has a scroll wheel that allows me to zoom in and zoom out with regards to the brush. So I did that because I wanted to make sure and keep on rolling. We'll still use the quick key controls here on the side, but for brush control we will be utilizing this. So let's go ahead. It's so funny how I was literally walking this morning and I saw this poking out. Not poking out, it wasn't poking out. I was walking and it just like caught my eye. And I'm like, that is incredibly cool. Okay, we're going to give it a fin here. I'm always one that tries to find faces in clouds and stuff like that. I guess that's the child in me that never has decided to grow up, and I definitely welcome that because that has to do with my imagination and overall just the way that I view the world, which is a little childlike sometimes. Even though I am a adult, I don't ever want to lose that sense of wonder, especially when it comes to nature. I'm really into nature shows. I don't know if you guys are, but I sure am. I love nature shows. I love documentaries, learning about stuff. And even now, since they're starting to discover some really unique things in the wild and animals, and especially aquatic, and how they're realizing that fish and certain creatures, even they said even great white sharks have the ability to change the color of their skin. And that blew my mind. Like, what? And some of the creatures in the deep, they they fluoresce. So whenever you shine ultraviolet light on them, they fluoresce in a certain pattern, and certain creatures see in ultraviolet. I was just like, wow, we're just now getting started on stuff. So overall, I think, I think that this is probably a great device, okay? When it's paired with the right computer, when you're using the the right program, and the QC probably needs to check the nibs a little bit more, because I went through 3 nibs. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 nibs. The original, then I replaced 1, then I went to the second one. So probably, I'm on my 3rd nib, because the first few nibs just didn't seat correctly, and that's weird. Okay. This is what I was talking about whenever I was referring to size. I'm used to drawing a little bit bigger. And, let me see here. No. Okay. So let's go back. Let's change the color. The pressure curve in the drawing experience is spectacular. Overall, the biggest things that I think may be happening, and which is kind of causing this to be a quote-unquote negative experience, may have to do with Windows. Windows is very finicky, especially whenever it comes to drivers and peripherals. So, that is... I want to give it a horn, want to give it some really cool stuff. Hold on. Yeah, let's give it a little. It's got some little. So definitely think about that. Sometimes it takes just a hot moment to realize maybe it's user error. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that fun? Yeah, let's go ahead and zoom out. Look at him. He got some, whoa. Whoa. Okay. Go ahead and draw in some bubbles. Some bubbles. Bubbles. Tiny bubbles. Too, with muscle memory. I have 25 years worth of illustration muscle memory on Macintosh, and I just started getting PC probably about 10 years ago. So programming something new into my workflow, especially whenever it comes to quick keys, can be challenging at best. Sometimes you'll see me kind of pause for a second, because whenever I'm drawing, I go into that whole mode of muscle memory, fast, form, shape, rhythm and flow, and then whenever I have something kind of stop me in my tracks, yeah, I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So my apologies if you see me pause. For some things, we're going to put a little bit of value in here, just a skosh. Oops. Probably would have behooved me to put a quick key undo. What is this one? What is this one? Oh, that's okay. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll do that. We'll go ahead and program an undo if I can get it to work. Okay, Photoshop, quick key, quick key. Okay, we'll go here. Okay, express keys. And we'll do the bottom one. Brush. Oh, that's the B brush. No, I think I'm going to do. Yeah. No, we don't want Control BZ. We want Control Z. Okay, undo. Now we've got that. So if we go like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake, and then I can just press this button and it goes away. So yeah, overall, like I said, again, I think she's a little heavy right now. I don't know. I mean, it was fine just a minute ago. It almost has a mind of its own. Let's go ahead back. Go to Photoshop. This being a new unit, sometimes it does take really just a moment to kind of understand the interface and stuff. So my apologies for you're literally seeing it how I see it. I know some people do really polished reviews, and you come away with that with a very lacking sense of understanding of what you're going to be buying. And that is not my channel. I literally wanted you guys to see this as I saw it and I experienced it. Honestly, I think the brush is too heavy. Not the brush, I think the pressure curve is way too heavy. I went in and adjusted that. Let's go ahead and adjust it all the way to the bottom, which would be the hardest. Let's go and get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and add a layer. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay, we're saved just in case things explode. Okay, so we're going to come back. You can see in Photoshop, currently the brush and the output is really, I mean, we're really now getting down to the hard where it doesn't give a lot of pressure. It's like it leads up to it. So if we were to do this, and two, you have to play around with these things, right? Every single interface is different. So maybe that's light, maybe that's dark. I really don't know. No, it's still too heavy. And I've got pressure on. So if I turn taper on. So I should be able to basically lay the pen and get just the lightest. And you can see that even though it's just the pen, I've got no force from my hand. I feel like that's still just a skosh too dark, because whenever I go, let's get rid of that. Whenever I go and start painting, even though that's nice, I think it's still too dark. So that is unfortunate. even with the... Okay. Alright, little fishies. We're going to put some color. We want them to be purple, because I like purple. Purple. See how I keep switching back and forth? I'm like, where's my eyedropper? Oh, there it is. It's not the eyedropper, it's the paint. The hand. Okay, so good. Good. Go ahead and switch that down a skosh. I think we're going to do purple and orange. Does that sound good? And two, this is just a loosey-goosey. We're just drawing pictures and we're just having some fun. Getting kind of frustrated, but not really, because this is still fun. So now that I'm getting into it, the pressure curve feels pretty good. Overall, I do have pressure on, so I am having to push pretty hard. And even though I did kind of poo-poo the fatty nib, large and in charge, I do like the solid feel whenever I press hard, because I've had some pens, even in machines that are higher in price points, and the nibs wear out really quickly and they're a little flimsy. And I don't think these are flimsy at all. This kind of has some beef to it. Let's see here. That's an eraser. And this, okay, so pre-program, which is fine. Okay, let's do eyedropper. Oh, man. A little bit of back. Yeah. Some bubbles. Bubbles, tiny bubbles. Yeah, I mean, overall, the thing is I'm not used to drawing in such a small space. Yeah, baby. Okay, so let's go ahead and lock Unstas transparency. Let's do this. Let's go here. Goldenrod. Goldenrod. Oh, that's a bit orange. I don't know. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Talk to me. A lot of times I just sit here and I look at it and I think, okay, orange, green, different shade of, or I'm sorry, a different different shade of purple. Purple. No like it. I don't know. Do the bottom of them? Yeah. Let's do that. Do that. That feels good. That feels really good. Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and do some water. Let's do this. Let's do these. 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Good. Good. Feeling good. Oop. See, I got attached to my quick key device. It'd be nice if Gaomon had a quick key device. They're like, we don't need a quick key device. You've got quick keys right on the side of the machine, you human. There were many select words that I could have used in that scenario, but I used human instead, so you're welcome. Okay, so make that a little bit lighter. You see, this is what I was talking about. Whenever I start getting into the drawing itself, I start enjoying it, and then the machine itself goes away. Then it's just me and the drawing, and we're talking. Me and the drawing, we're just having a good time. Okay, we're just going to do this, because we can. So we're going to go ahead and use multiply. And we're going to find our splatters. Splatters, hairy, sampled splatter. Here we go. That's good. Make it a little bit bigger. he's got some stuff up there. Maybe he needs moisturizers. He needs moisturizers. He's got some dry skins. Maybe he needs some lip balm. I don't know. Let me get some big old... Maybe he's got a rash. He's got a rash? No. Okay. Just having fun. So we're going to go ahead and zoom out. Yeah, Mr. Fishy. Fishy Magoo. Based upon... Boom. Yeah, remember? We started 7 layers. Now we're going to go ahead and give him an environment. So I'm a huge context person. I like context. Ghibli, that's not under the sea. Wet media. I love me some watercolor. I'm a huge watercolor guy because I suck at it. I suck at watercolor right now. I have purchased all the stuff because, I mean, isn't that the thing? We purchase stuff and then we think we're going to do it. And then we don't. Oh, see, that's terrible. Anyway, what I'm trying to say basically is I love watercolors so much. I love the looseness of it. If I could just tap into that looseness a little bit more, because I've created a few watercolor. I got a few watercolor pieces. Watercolor to me is just, it's out of control. I don't know how to explain it. Because the water goes everywhere, right? Water. That's why I like digital watercolor. Digital watercolor doesn't go anywhere. It stays right where I want it to. And I just love watercolor. I did watercolor for a little while, and it just kind of stressed me out. But now, digital watercolor. This is so pretty. I actually have a watercolor program called Rebel, and I was one of their beta testers for the program. It's so funny. I don't do traditional watercolor, and they had me beta test the watercolor software. Anyway, it was really cool, and I loved it. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I wish I could do better stuff for you guys. And they were very gracious, gave me the program for free. Yeah, that's one of the perks of doing stuff like this, is they want real input. They don't want flash, fly-by-wire. They want honesty. And I said their program was awesome. I thought it was fantastic. Oh, what is going on? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Okay. Oh. No, I don't want that. I don't want to overlay. I want... Okay, that's why, because I can go up here. Yeah, so we'll just give it some highlights here and there. Yeah. Highlight. Highlight. Anyway, so Rebel was very gracious and gave me the software, and their program was wonderful. Loved it. Loved it. So I haven't had any hang-ups with regards to actual painting. Something I didn't know I could do. Something new. Overall, I think the painting, the brush curve, the pressure curve is a little heavy for my taste. Now I can go and adjust things up here with opacity and stuff like that. And even right there, so opacity on that. Yeah, I can really do stuff like that. So we come back, and I come back here, and I go right here, and I go color burn, color dodge. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Wait a minute, why isn't that? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Kind of push him forward a little bit. Yeah. Again, just having a little bit of fun. Nothing really too in-depth overall. Yeah, a little bit down here. That's nice. And what I like, so we're going to zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, look at that. And a beautiful texture. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's zoom in one more time and save. So, let's do a final overview of the, where is it at? The Gaomon PD1161 pen display. Draw the world. Okay, so let's talk about the pluses and the, of course, minuses. Okay, so final thoughts the Gaomon PD1161 drawing display. I have reviewed a lot of drawing displays, and I've reviewed some at the higher end of the echelon price point with features, and I've reviewed some of the lower rung tablets. And most of the time, if they do what they say they are designed to do, I don't have an issue. Where I start having kind of a rocky road, is whenever I have challenges not only installing the driver, but also getting the machine calibrated correctly and get it to interface with a host machine. So there are a lot of variables. And this is one of the things, this is a caveat. So the variables with regards to driver installation, that relies heavily not only on the driver itself, but also the user, also the machine and the way the machine is set up, the PC. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of PCs out there, and you could be running a piece of software in the background that interferes with the Gaomon driver. Whatever it is, it could be a myriad of things. And that's why it's always kind of tongue-in-cheek whenever you start looking at those items as it pertains to user experience. Was it a positive experience? No. No, it was not. And that is unfortunate because Gaomon, they make a really decent product at a great price point. I mean, at under $200, this particular machine having HD screen and having that anti-glare film applied. It has the quick keys on the left-hand side, 8,192 levels of pressure sensitivity. Those things, all of those things are good. And whenever you have kind of the core that is good, and then you have things like a driver. So whenever I think I had some issues with the other machine that I reviewed by Gaomon as well, that had some driver issues. But once I got everything ironed out, and I forget what I did because I wanted to come at this like you guys would, right? You get the machine, you unbox it, you plug it in, you install the driver, and what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to draw. You want to use it. And I couldn't do that. And then I had to calibrate, and then I had to restart the machine like 3 or 4 times, and then I kept getting weird anomalies. And again, it's hard for me to quote unquote judge because I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. And it might take a little while for me to iron that out, but I don't want to give Gaomon a thumbs down because their product is really good. The quality, they stepped up since their last machine that I reviewed. The quality of the cables, just overall, I give all of that a thumbs up. The drawing experience, which is what I want you to focus on the most. So obviously I said there was a pressure curve issue. Not everybody likes a pen that, how do I put it, is less sensitive. Whenever you change the pressure curve down to have like a harder, that means you have to press harder for it to activate. And I couldn't, you saw me, I had the pressure curve all the way down to where basically I want to have like a sketch feel. And that's really indicative of my style. If I get in here into the program and into Photoshop or whatever, and I start drawing and it's heavy-handed, it doesn't give me the nuance that I need and the free flow and the form and all those things. Because whenever I draw, I don't dig in. I draw really fast. And whenever I go, I want a nice light hand. I sketch kind of light, and then I segue over and I do layers and I refine and refine and refine. And I couldn't quite get the pressure curve to my liking. That doesn't mean that you won't find something that's really great and positive about the pressure curve, because out of the factory, it's not horrible. But for me, I like things a little bit. I like things a little bit harder. I like them hard. Anyway, so what I'm saying basically is, yeah, there's so many factors when it comes to a review. I mean, the screen, whenever I first plugged it up, it was a little dim, so I had to adjust that. Then I had to get it plugged into the video card on my Surface Laptop Studio, which meant I had to change the setting, and then I had to match the setting on the Gaomon unit, and then I had to scale it to make sure, because everything was really tiny. So all these things, imagine if you bought it and you plugged it in, like I said, and you want to go ahead and get things started and you couldn't. That would be frustrating. I can see why the negative reviews happened, because it's just like any other quote unquote piece of technology or peripheral. There is a learning curve, and if you're impatient, okay, or if you don't have a lot of experience with stuff like that, or if you don't understand computers and how they work, then you're going to be frustrated with any kind of tablet, whether it's Gaomon or XP Pen or Sense Labs or Wacom or whatever. Yeah, all the companies have challenges, all of them, because they're dealing in Windows or Macintosh or Apple or Linux, and all those companies. I mean, yeah, they have their own, they have their shell, and you're trying to install stuff into the shell, and it's challenging. So overall experience, I give it probably a C+. I mean, if you factor in all of the stuff I had to deal with, then yeah, a C+. If all the, okay, let's be the advocate here, on the positive side. Let's say the driver installed perfectly and everything was great. Then I probably give it maybe an A-. The drawing experience was wonderful, and that's hard to overlook. Get the driver fixed, because it doesn't allow for a really minute, finite amount of adjustment with pertains to pressure curve. Do I think it's worth what, $169? I think that's what it was. $199 retail, $169 was on sale. It might even be cheaper than that. Yes, I do. I think at that price point, you could purchase one, and you're not expecting problems, but you definitely, since you're not paying $1,000. I mean, you're not getting a 4K screen. You're not getting 16,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. You're not getting 120 hertz refresh rate or 165. You're not getting bonded screen. You're not getting any of that stuff. Yeah, you're getting a great machine that draws well. That's pretty much what you're looking for. In terms of tracking, yeah, that's yeah. Tracking, it still wasn't right, especially near the edges. Not great. And then having to replace that nib 2 times. I'm on my 3rd nib. That was not great. So anyway, yeah, now you understand what the life is of a reviewer and how trying to get stuff done. And another thing, and this is kind of something that I'm probably going to get some feedback from you guys, you computer people. I don't use PC in my day-to-day work, and this is exactly why. Because I tried it for a week. I tried it for 1 week. I had a super powerful machine. I mean, I had the video card. It was awesome in 4K and just blah. And between the updates, between the driver conflicts, between, oh gosh, the software, just PC. Yeah, if you have a PC, I commend you. I remember a guy, one of my good friends, he's unfortunately not with us anymore, artist, and he said, Mike, he said, because I said, how do you work on a PC all day? And he said, well, this is what I do. I have my work machine, and then I have my laptop. My laptop is for emails and for all that other stuff, and I connect to the internet, and that's that machine. And I update that machine, and that's great. That's safe. He said, but your work machine, you don't connect to the internet, and you never update it. And I was like, what? You never update it? He said, no, because inadvertently, every time I update, not every time, a lot of times when I update the machine, it will upset the entire workflow, or the machine will crash, or it'll auto update, or whatever virus he gets, or whatever. The drivers don't, and you update a driver and suddenly it doesn't work anymore. And you just don't connect to the internet, and you'll be good. You could use that PC for 3 years, and then you just buy another one. You just don't ever connect to the internet. And that didn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, the Gaomon PD1161 is a C+ machine as it sits. Like I said, if everything worked in terms of the driver installation, then I would probably give it an A-, because the drawing experience is sublime. It is wonderful. It is very comparable, I would probably say, to my Cintiq 21UX. If any of you guys know what that is, that was a Cintiq that was released about 2008, 2009. And I used that for 10 years. Gosh, I used that a long time, maybe 2007. But the 21UX was great, and I was able to create tons and tons of artwork professionally. And if you buy this machine, you will definitely be able to do that, just as long as you get the driver installed correctly. Anyway, thank you guys for visiting the channel. Hopefully you got something today. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully you got something today. All right. We'll see you guys next time. All right. Have a good one. Bye.